So let's stick with the topic of injuries. I think most people expect the Niners to go to the playoffs this year, just based on their schedule, purely based on their schedule. But we can't ignore the fact that the pattern of the offseason is Niners have a practice, guy goes down with injury. Niners have a game, guy goes down with injury. I mean, it's just been a pattern so far. So if this pattern continues and injuries are the theme of the year once again, and the Niners miss the playoffs, would the injury excuse let Shanahan off the hook this year like it did in years past?
Okay. I don't know what Jed York thinks. I haven't talked to him in 8 years. I know what I think, and so I'm giving my opinion. Okay, so let's say they don't make the playoffs, which is bad because they have a very good starting lineup. Let's say they don't make the playoffs, and a lot of people say, fans and also media, well, it's not Kyle's fault because once again, the poor guy suffered a lot of injuries, i.e., he's a victim. He's a victim.
It's misfortune. It's out of his control.
Out of his control, misfortune. I would even say that might be true. I'm not arguing that. What I would say, he's had a lot of misfortune last season and potentially this season. I would get rid of him, and I would want to have a coach who doesn't have misfortune. Yeah. Not every coach has. It's like he's pursued by the Furies in Greek tragedy. He can't get rid of it. The poor guy, his fate is to have misfortune. Okay, not his fault. Get somebody else who doesn't have misfortune. And I'll say something else. I don't know what's going on there. It may just be misfortune. It may be that something about his coaching style leads to injuries. I don't know. Or it may be that their training staff is of such a nature that it leads to injuries. I don't know. But let's say it's just bad luck. Too bad. You've had enough chances with bad luck. We want somebody else. And if that seems unfair, life is unfair. It's unfair for everybody. And if he gets let go because of bad luck, c'est la vie.
He was asked about this today, and he gave a pretty interesting answer. Let me read you the question and his answer. The question was, I know you're in the middle of it, but this is the second year with so many injuries in training camp. Did you take time to look at last year to try to avoid that? And are there any things that you could put your finger on why this is happening again? He says, I mean, it's stuff that we look into every year. We try to even look into it more after this year. But, we haven't been able to have the training camp that we normally want to have because of the injuries. It's not like they just all happened at 1 week. They happened pretty early with the number of guys and just the way our schedule's gone with our scrimmages, having these games, the off days and traveling. I don't feel like we've had enough of the training camp practice to say that we're going too hard. But obviously we have too many guys down. So we've got to look into all that stuff and figure out whatever we can do better. What do you think of that?
Here's what I think. The last part, we've got to look into it. He's had 8 seasons to look into it. We got to look into it now. And in other words, he's saying he doesn't have the answer at all, but they're going to look into it. When are they going to look into it? What does looking into it mean? How do you
Didn't
look
they look
into it
this last year too? I mean, weren't they looking into it after this past season?
Yeah. I want somebody who's a better looker into. I want someone like that. I don't want someone that says, oh, we'll get a commission together and we'll get experts and we'll talk to them and we'll figure it out. I don't know. Is Pete Carroll, does he have all these injuries? Are they having him in Detroit? Are they having all these injuries? He's going to look into it. I think that's a vague way of saying, I don't have a clue. Don't ask me. I don't know what's going on. He's throwing his hands up, Iggy, and he's already making an excuse.
And I think it's more evidence for people who would say that he's merely a play caller whose scope of expertise is extremely narrow. It has to do with motion and X's and O's and how to beat cover 3 and a 5-man front. But it's not really about how to keep a team healthy, how to build a team, how to get a team ready for week 1. I mean, the team never seems like they're ready for week 1, and it seems like the preseason is September instead of August. So, I mean, that's just more evidence for that.
Yeah, and Iggy, I want to say one other thing about coverage. I looked at some other people's podcasts, whatever the heck they are, and I'm seeing Pearsall had a great day, and Purdy threw some great passes, and Kittle's good. Sure, they're supposed to be good. That's not the news. Ira Miller always told me, Lowell, why is this day? It's like Passover. Why is this day different from all other days? It's not that Kittle was good. We know he's good. It's not that Brock Purdy's good. We know he's good. What was different today was that the backup quarterback went down, or we learned that he went down. That's the news item. Unless you're there just to say the team is wonderful. Even the coach isn't saying that. The coach is worried, and you're hearing it's one of the greatest practices ever, except now they have Nate Sudfeld. That's the news.
Can you imagine if Ira were there? No,
Oh,
you're not wrong. Can you imagine if Ira were there and, this is 1987 or something, and Steve Young is the backup, and he goes down, and he goes and writes the story of the day is that Jerry Rice was good in practice. Can you imagine? Yeah, we know.
I can tell you, I don't think Ira.
Yeah.
I don't think Ira would have done that. No. And what's more, he would have gotten a quote from Steve. Steve would be afraid not to give him a quote.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's going to be tough for Kyle Shanahan to get the injury sympathy this year 9, and you had all offseason to figure something out. It seems like this is a mess that you created on your own. You can't fix it. I was in Vegas last week. I was thinking about this movie that applies to Kyle. I don't know if you remember it. It came out 22 years ago. It's starring William H. Macy. It's called The Cooler. And the concept is he's this guy who works for the casinos, and he has the worst luck. And just if he sits next to someone who's on a heater, that person all of a sudden gets bad luck and loses. So his job is to sit next to people who are on heaters, and just his general, bad luck in life rubs off on them. But then he falls in love with someone, he ends up getting good luck, and he loses what makes him special. So Kyle might be the cooler.
He might be the cooler. Yeah.
He might be the cooler.
In terms of injuries. Injuries. Because that's what we're talking about. Because I think he's a relatively good coach. But Iggy, I'm sorry. I've had it with his injuries. I've lost patience, and I'd say I'm bored with it. I don't want people to get injured, but I'm bored with the topic, and I'm bored with it's redundant. And the fact that he doesn't have a clue is, from my point of view, troubling. We're going to look into it. Oh, geez.
And it feels like a built-in excuse every year. Like either we'll be really good or the wheels will fall off and we'll have an excuse. It's not like we tried and didn't quite make it. It's that half the team was hurt, and so you can't judge us. But if you build a team full of injury-prone players and you have really short practices that don't build up the toughness and callous of the team, then maybe you're like sort of having a self-fulfilling prophecy here. Maybe you have an inherently fragile team that breaks down more. Maybe you have like what are those Italian cars that aren't so Alfa Romeo? Maybe you built an Alfa Romeo.
I love it. Maybe you built an Alfa Romeo.
Oh, it broke down again. What did you expect? It's not a Toyota.
When I used to cover a long, long time ago, Bill Walsh teams, George Seifert teams, these are great teams, Iggy. Mm-hmm. In training camp, they had morning and afternoon practices.
Yep.
And they were 3 hours apiece.
Yeah.
In the hot Rockland sun.
Mm-hmm.
They were hydrated. They had water there, and there was tackling. Mm-hmm. And one of the coaches told me, you have to do that because getting ready for football is different from other sports. You have to learn how to hit and be hit and get used to it. And I get the feeling, I don't know if this is the cause, I'm just saying, maybe there's not enough hitting on the 49ers. I don't remember Bill's teams getting massacred like this.
There is no hitting on the 49ers. I've been doing this for 15 years. When Harbaugh was there would be all different types of hitting drills. They would have goal line live tackling. So it's a little bit more safe than in the middle of the field because no one has a big running start. But live tackling at the goal line, also one-on-one blitz pickup drills. That's pretty violent. That's a safety and a linebacker getting maybe a 10-yard running start into a running back or a tight end who has to block him one-on-one. They used to do that in every training camp. And oftentimes, maybe one guy would get a concussion or one guy would get a stinger or one guy would mess up their shoulder. They don't ever do that anymore. Whereas teams like the Broncos and the Raiders with coaches who've been around for a while do those things. And I think have, at least better injury luck than the Niners.
So, Iggy, I'm coming back to Harbaugh because, I wasn't aware of that. So there was actually tackling and hitting in certain situations in his training camp.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll never forget the first training camp I ever covered, the first 11-on-11 period I ever covered. I didn't know what to expect. It was live tackling. And Anthony Dixon got the first carry, and he ran over Patrick Willis. He really hit Patrick Willis hard. He wasn't expecting him. And then he flexed over Patrick Willis, and there were fans there. And the team didn't like it. And instead of actually, starting a fight, they just did football justice, which was hand the ball to Anthony Dixon again and let everyone on the defense tee off on him. And then they benched him for the rest of practice. I'll never forget that. That was live tackling to start training camp. Let's kick this off right. That was 2011.
And that's Harbaugh's mentality.
Yeah. That team was ready to go.
Justice. Yeah.
Something to think about. Corey House says, Hawks fan, big fan of your work. Nemhauser thinks Seattle will keep Derek Young over MVS. I think MVS could be a target for SF. Yeah. Marquez Valdez-Scantling could be a target for SF, considering they might have to start Russell Gage or Robbie Chosen week 1. JM Garza says, has been a member for 44 months. Thank you very much. A.O. Hennessy says, having dinner at Applebee's, ask your dad who was his celebrity crush and who was the best actor from back in the days.
What does it mean, a celebrity crush?
Some girl that was a celebrity who you had a crush on when you were younger.
I don't know. I mean, my favorite athlete was Sugar Ray Robinson because I was a boxing fan. I don't remember having a crush. But hold on. And what was the other question?
Who was the best actor from back in the days?
Okay, that's good. Well, I grew up with Marlon Brando and with Paul Newman. Those were pretty good actors.
It's true. JM Garza says, with Saleh here, is a Womack-like cut less likely? Keep the young DBs. Best Niners show on YouTube. Thank you both. Really enjoying Lowell's Substack.
Oh, bless you.
Yes, shout out to Lowell. Make sure you subscribe.
He posted for me.
JM Garza, Saleh was on the team when they cut DJ Reed, who ended up going to the Jets, who ended up getting coached by Saleh. So I don't know. Well, I'll do the best I can to help Saleh not make that mistake. The real Harvey Dent says, day 9 of asking Grant to see the Superman movie. Lowell, you should see it too. First Jewish and best Superman, just saying. Jewish Superman.
Jewish Superman, eh?
What do you think his kryptonite is? Bacon?
It's bacon. Pork chop.
Pork chop?